Welcome to first edition of Tips and Tricks. As I had promised, because of heavy pressure on me from most of our subscribers, why I say most, because a large majority of our subscribers are students. And they were clamoring that I should share with you some of my expertise that I have acquired in appearing for competitive examinations. So this tips and tricks is a very different format. It is not going to be like what is called a coaching school. No, because coaching school, what it does is that it provides you online solutions or even offline solutions. It gives you prepared questions, answers to questions. No, I'm not going to do that. What I am going to do that is that I am going to tell you the tricks and I am going to give you the tips that will enable you to get the best out of any school, any college, or any coaching institute. Because you must have seen that so many people, almost everybody goes and attends a coaching institute. People are preparing throughout their college. They're preparing, in fact, right from the days of school. They're preparing for some competition or the other. But many of them lack the proper attitude, proper instruments and proper guidance to get the best out of these places. So, I'm not going to give you the gold mine. What I am going to give you, I am going to provide you with the best digging equipments. So, when you have the best digging equipments, you are ahead of your competition. You can go to the same gold mine where everybody is congregated, but you can, with the better digging equipments, take out more and better of that gold. You got the idea? Okay. So, this series is basically to prepare you for all competitions, but because the UPSC season is nearing, so I will be focusing more on the UPSC examinees. Now, what do you require to prepare for a competition? Now, this is a very trite question, a very, very hackneyed question, and everybody would have his own answers. But let me give you my answer. There are certain common factors when you are preparing for a competition. I mean, those common factors, if you have those common factors, then you will probably qualify through the prelims easily. But when it comes to distinguishing you from the competition, then certain additional factors are required. So what are the common factors? The first thing that you have to do is to understand the competition. And understanding the competition means that you have to choose your subjects carefully. In UPSC, you still have to choose an optional. I remember when I appeared for my UPSC examination, civil services, that was a long time back, more than 30 years back. But even then I had to make a choice. I had to make a choice because I was an engineering student. I had done marine engineering. Marine engineering is mechanical plus. And when I went to choose my subjects, then I found that mechanical engineering was a very difficult subject to score in. And in fact, I went and did further research and found that for last 10 years, not a single mechanical engineering student or someone who had offered mechanical engineering in the civil services had gone through to the IS proper. So that was sufficient for me to offer two subjects which I had never done, history and political science. But that came out of understanding the competition. And once you have decided what subjects you are going to take, you've understood your competition, then you require the knowledge. Knowledge, of course, you have very many places to acquire the knowledge from. These days you can get it online. You can also join a coaching institute. You can have expert guidance from many people. So knowledge is the easiest thing to gather. So I'm not going to dwell more on knowledge. Then you need proper equipments. And what are these proper equipments? These are the proper equipments that would take you through the main examination. And the first and foremost of it is your quality of expression. Why quality of expression is even more necessary is because in the general studies paper you have to write something like 4,000 words in 3 hours. Or 4,000 words in 3 hours, even for a person who has written 3 full books, it's very difficult to produce. And those 4,000 words in 3 hours, you have to answer specific questions. You also have to have time to think. It's a very tall order. Unless you know how to exactly express yourself, how to precisely express yourself, it becomes very difficult. So you need to have a command over the language in which you are going to write. It doesn't have to be English, it can be any language, but then you have to practice this art of expression. You have to learn this art of expression. You have to spend almost as much time acquiring this art of expression as you spend on acquiring the knowledge. And then, of course, if you want to score over your competition, because ultimately in the competition it is not important how many marks you get, but what is important is that you are in the top percentile. Unless you are in the top percentile, you don't go through the competition. So for that, your expression also has some depth. These are the basic common factors. I would call them HCF, the highest common factors. Now we come to the brass tacks. Brass tacks means what will distinguish you in the competition. Preparing for competition is a very long drawn affair. It is not one day's task. It is not that your college examination where maybe last 1 month you can prepare and get through. You have to have a very long strategy in place. So this I have devised my own methodology. I call this the Ram Krishna method of approaching a competition. What are the Ram factors? These are, I call, Jigyasa, Maryada, Netrutva. Translated into English, curiosity, discipline, and leadership. I don't have too much time to explain all this in this first episode. Suffice to say that unless you have the right amount of curiosity, you will not be able to learn what you are trying to learn. You will only be able to cram it up, and when you cram it up, your expression suffers, the depth suffers. So you have to have the right curiosity to go deep into a subject and learn it properly. Then, of course, the discipline is required. Without discipline, you can't get through this hard period of preparation. And leadership. Leadership, when I say leadership, means that you have to look at your weak points the same way that Ram managed to inspire a ragtag combination of tribals and oppressed people and molded them into a great army and took on the might of somebody like Ravana. So you have to understand all your weak points and you marshal them and you make them strong in a way that you are able to take on this competition. Don't treat it as Ravana, but it is a competition nevertheless. And the third is for those who are really looking to top the exam. And those are the attributes of higher consciousness. I call them the Krishna factors. And that is a full control of your mind, control of your senses, and controlling the examiner through reflection of those attributes into your answer books. How do you do that? Of course, there are very many ways of doing it. As we go further into these sessions, I will be explaining it in detail. For today, this is sufficient. Bye-bye. and see you again. If you like this, then please subscribe, share, and press the bell icon.